All right, guys, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the necessities that you need to have to really get good functional training in the gym. So most people who come in here are looking for real world results. So what we're going to talk about today is the difference of training for competing in something like CrossFit, powerlifting, weightlifting, strongman, these areas that use belts, all these other tools in their sport versus other sports, baseball, basketball, volleyball, you name it, or just real life, every day, playing with your kids, going for hikes, going for runs, all of this stuff. So what we see and what we want to do is we want to figure out why people are in the gym and what is functional for their goals and their purposes. So do you need a weight belt, knee sleeves, weightlifting shoes, wrist straps? Do you need all of these tools? And the answer is it depends. So I'm not saying that all of these things are bad. What I'm saying is we need to really think about why we're using it, what we're using it for, and ultimately what our goals at in the gym. So first, let's talk about what functional means. It's really just what you want to do with your training, and we want our training to be functional. We want it to have carryover to the things that you specifically want to do. So let's just use the weight belt for an example. If we have a weight belt, we're going to draw in, we're going to put the thing on really, really tight, and then I'm going to breathe in and press everything out into it. It can really tighten everything up, help support my back. It can really add a brace to my core that can allow me to lift more weight. But what's the point? If it lets me lift more weight, that's a really cool number I can write on the board. If I'm competing in something, then that's something really cool to be able to do, lift more weight. But if my ultimate goal is playing volleyball, lifting more weight with a weight belt doesn't transfer to playing volleyball. So unless you're going to wear a weight belt playing volleyball, which I'm assuming you're not going to do. So what we want to do is we want to get really good at the movements that are going to transfer to what you want. So we need to start thinking of things. It's not just a back squat or a deadlift or a strict press or whatever it might be. We have different variations, and it can be a back squat with a belt. It can be a back squat with knee sleeves. It can be a back squat with both of these things. We have a bunch of different combinations, or it can be a raw back squat. So what I want you to think about is, why are you back squatting? What does this transfer to? And are you doing it in a way that's going to have maximal transferability out there? So the way that I need to brace when I'm playing volleyball is by drawing in my lower abs, holding my Kegel butt cheeks tight, twist my feet on the floor, rib cage down, stand tall, create torque in my shoulder and in my hip. And then I need to breathe into that drawn in position, and that's going to create a natural weight belt for me. If I am in the habit and in the motor pattern of poofing everything out, that actually puts my spine in a very compromised way. So if you're in the gym training over and over and over again with this gear, and then you go out in the real world and this gear's not there, you've never trained without it, and no telling what's going to happen. So what we're looking for is we want you to be functional. So what do you need? What gear do you need? It completely depends on what your goals are. 99 or more % of people working out are not working out with the ultimate goal of competing. Even if your goal is, I want to compete in a local competition and do this and that, we can still get to an extremely high level and also have all of that practice and movement and training carry over to your real lives and what you're doing outside of the gym. So I just want you to take a long look at why you're using it, and then make sure that that's in line with your goals. Another thing we want to consider is a lot of people start wearing weight belts and knee sleeves and wearing these things because something hurts. Their back starts to hurt, so they think, oh, I know I need to keep doing back squats, so now I need to use this weight belt so my back doesn't hurt. What's happening here is now, again, we have an issue, and then we're putting tape and a cast on the issue. So if we have an issue like we need weightlifting shoes to prop our heels up off the floor, the issue is likely my hips or my ankles do not move through a full range of motion. I need to fix the root of that problem, and the root of the problem is fixing my hips and how my ankles move. If I put a Band-Aid on the problem and just wear weightlifting shoes with everything I do, I'm not actually training the positions that I need to use. So I want you to take a minute, think about what your real goals are, see if your real goals and what you're actually trying to use what we do in the gym have anything to do with this gear, and if it doesn't, stop using the gear. What you're going to probably see, especially if you've been using weight belts, knee sleeves, and this stuff, you're going to see your max numbers go down for a little bit. This happened to me. You have to change the way you think of it in your head. So my max did not go down. My back squat with a weight belt max stayed where it was. My back squat without any gear is a new number. So now I have a new number that I'm going off of, and it took me about a year to make my new number match my weight belt back squat number, and then I've gone far beyond that. So we can get really, really, really strong. It just takes a little bit of time to develop, and it's really hard mentally sometimes to watch those numbers drop. You just have to think of them as completely different numbers. A weight belt back squat is not the same as a non-weight belt back squat, so don't put the pressure on yourself to lift the exact same, because we've got different movements. All right, take a minute, think about, decide what's right for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy.